Welcome into this episode of the Bass Pro Shop's Fisherman's Handbook. On today's show, we'll be taking an in-depth look at crappie fishing and dissect specific details and nuances that will make your efforts more fruitful when targeting these paper mouths. This includes breaking down the patterns and nature of the crappie, how to find them using electronics, as well as introduce you to baits that will load the boat with fish. First up in this episode, we introduce you to the Big Bite Baits Pendulate Jig Head, a versatile bait that can be very productive when targeting crappie.
This is the Pendulum Jig Head by Big Bite Baits, and as you can see, it has the ability to swivel right up here. It's all built in. You can turn it. It comes in multiple sizes, and it's been designed for usage on the forward-looking sonar type applications, much like the Garmin Live Scope. Whether you're a bass fisherman or a pan fisherman or really whatever species that you're looking at, it comes in 4 different sizes, and we're going to be spending some time looking at it as other people have and how it performs. And there's a lot of good reasons to have a jig head exactly like this.
One of the biggest trends over the past 4 or 5 years has definitely been the forward-facing sonar. And one of the big things that we've learned, especially fishing there at home on Table Rock, some of our clear water lakes, where we do a lot of vertical fishing, is live scope's a big deal in that aspect too. And this new Big Bite Pendulate head is going to be the perfect head anytime you're wanting to vertical fish. It's going to come with this new Gamakatsu specially designed wide gap 3/0 hook. It's going to be available in 4 sizes. We've got an 1/8, 3/16, 1/4, and 3/8. So it's going to be a bait that you can use for so many different aspects: crappie fishing, pan fishing, bass fishing, walleye fishing. I mean, this Pendulate head is going to be a tremendous head anytime you're wanting to fish a bait vertically.
There we go. You got it. Oh, I mean, catch them all, every different species. Anchor lock right there. Bass, crappie, white bass, walleye. I think this jig will pretty much cover all the bases. That head is going to be pretty unique. You can rig this jig head with a lot of different sizes of baits. It comes in 4 different sizes of heads, and it's going to give you the ability to finesse fish vertically or in a casting situation. One of the things I really like about it is the way that the head will spin right like this to eliminate line twist and allow you to be able to use it a lot in those forward-looking sonar type applications. I use Garmin Live Scope a ton. Whether I'm fishing over brush piles for bass, crappie, panfish, whatever it may be, or I'm casting to fish out in front of me with, a finesse type bait. And this type of a jig head is going to give you the opportunities to present the bait better, less line twist, a great hook that'll be able to handle any size fish that you're going to hook. And, like I said, a variety of baits can be used in it from a finesse type standpoint. Oh, this is going to be a good one. We're into juice. We're into juice. This one feels like he might have a little show. Ooh, got a largemouth. Like I said, we've got a little bit of everything. This little jig head's got some abilities. I thought that was probably a largemouth the way he come out of that brush pile. That's the thing about this forward-looking sonar, the Live Scope. That one's perfect. You can, after you see some of these fish, you get kind of an idea of what each one of them does and how they react and interact and come out of there. A little Gamakatsu swim on and Pendulum Jig Head, a little largemouth. All right, let's go back, buddy. An advantage of a jig head like this with the swivel basically built into the head of it is a couple of things in my opinion, and we're going to learn more about it as we use it, but the fish can't get as much leverage when he's throwing his head back and forth when you're fighting them, or those fish are jumping out there because the line tie is locked in. And this line tie, like we've seen, it rotates and moves around. So as the fish shakes his head, it's going to kind of work in and around those head shakes out there to lessen the ability for that fish to throw the bait. Secondly, this type of a pendulum moving type device, the swivel right here, is going to lessen your line twist, and that's obviously a big key in spinning rod type fishing. It's so easy, really in any kind of fishing, to get coils built up, or your line can just, you know, get a little extra slack in there. And what happens when you get a coil in there, and I'll kind of bend my line like this, you know, that's line or slack that you've got to pick up when you're setting the hook. But in this case here, the way that the bait is setting and hanging, you're not going to have that type of situation while you're out there. So whether you're using it in a finesse bass fishing type situation, or you're pan fishing, you're using it in forward-looking sonar, whatever type of situation that you're looking at, it's just going to be another tool to help you generate more bites, but also not lose them when you hook them up. There he is. Crappie. That's so fun. You know, the whole forward look in the Panoptix Live Scope by Garmin has just changed the way that I like to fish for panfish, largemouth, any kind of fish. Basically, they're just it's a lot of fun looking at them. And you know, got one little brush pile out here. We're dropping this Pendulum Jig Head with a little swim on bait from Big Bite on there, and I'm using 10-pound Sunline Sniper with a 10-pound actually braided line, and just dropping it down here, and it's a really light bite, you know, and you pull them out of there. It's such a fun way to catch fish. That won't ever get old.
There's no feeling like it. When you prep the gear, done the research, found the spot, nailed the presentation, and now there's only one thing left to do. Keep fishing. So gear up with all the best fishing gear, only at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Shop in store or online.
When there's miles of water in front of you and hundreds of feet below, you need a boat with the chops to dominate, no matter the conditions. With the strength and technology to overcome the elements and the competition. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time.
You have a full-time job and you want to be a full-time angler. Don't waste time scouting. You want to catch fish. That's where Garmin comes in. Our mapping with Navionics data lets you see more detail than the fish do. It's kind of a big deal. Oh, and our industry-leading live sonar is so crisp and clear you'll think you jumped in. You're welcome. Now if only we had a powerful, efficient, whisper-quiet trolling motor. Actually, we do. It's called Force. We knew you'd like that. Less time finding, more time catching fish. Only with Garmin.
I've loved crappie fishing ever since I was a little kid. I mean, my dad, my uncles, our entire family really enjoyed to go crappie fishing. So it's a passion. It's something I've done since I was, you know, knee high, and it's just something I always look forward to going and doing. And when you get on a great crappie fishing trip, it's very laid back, very enjoyable.
During this portion of the show, we're going to take a look at a crappie fishing trip that Wade experienced out on Choke Canyon Reservoir in South Texas with some good company. The trip results in plenty of laughs and a ton of fish catching fun.
You know, this trip in particular down on Choke Canyon, a lake that I've got a lot of knowledge on, get to go with my old time, long time friend Jim Binkin, not gonna say how old he is, and a new, you know, younger guy, Chase Hucks. You know, Chase and his friend Matt are, you know, the principals behind their fishing operation down here on Choke Canyon. They have a passion, they have an energy to get out and work. So when you go out with them, you know you're gonna be around fish.
So tell us Crappie Secrets. I mean, do you let it go down to the bottom? I've heard things that you don't ever let it go past them, keep it above them and bring it up. Is there any truth to that, or is that all just magazine stuff?
I mean, what I've figured out, crappie always look up. whenever they're eating. They never really follow baits down.
Okay.
I like to keep the baits above the brush piles, because if they're sitting in the brush pile, they're constantly looking up.
Okay.
So shad, this is, I mean, obviously we're imitating shad here with minnows.
Yeah.
So bringing it up above them, you know, I like to pitch it out a little bit past the pile and kind of swim it over top.
Okay.
And I agree with like what Chase is saying, how they look up. So I put my weight on the bottom.
Yeah.
So my bait is above.
Okay.
Everything like that.
Makes total sense, yeah.
That's how I was shown by my dad and my family, my uncle, and that's just kind of the way I crappie fish.
It's a little bit of a different direction. Usually it comes from that.
Oh, you can see him on the screen.
You got him? You can see him on the screen. Oh, yeah. Nice.
You can see
Right.
him on the screen. The
Good
whole
eater
way.
too, man. Ooh.
And I'm
We're
in
keeping
the
it,
brush.
right, Middleton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you want to eat some.
Oof.
Fishing with live bait is, I mean, face it, it's the way to catch things. You're gonna get a lot of bites with live bait, but you have to keep your bait lively. And using a live bait cooler, such as what Engel has, you basically got an insulated cooler to keep your water chilled, 5 degrees, 10 degrees cooler than what it is outside. That is more oxygen, keeps the minnows lively. You also have the option or the opportunity to put a battery-powered aerator in there. It's got a hose, gives more oxygen in there. Once again, keeps that bait lively. It allows you to fish longer in the day because you've got live bait. Then you have the, you know, the ease of having the little net in there to lift up and down so that you can grab the bait very fast. And it's just a system that I feel is designed to help you catch more fish because it's going to keep your bait lively and alive, which is going to allow you to spend more time out on the water and fill your limits.
Oh, man, he smoked it. I mean, that one smoked it. That one smoked it. Oh, God, dang.
Don't lose that
Don't lose that, Big Daddy. Dang.
Let it go.
Yeah, finally. Jim comes through.
That's a real one.
Coming up next, we continue to show you more great ways to catch crappie. In the upcoming segment, we highlight just how revolutionary Garmin's Panoptix Live Scope has been to the sport of crappie fishing. Stay tuned for more.
The Yamaha VMAX V6 SHO continues to deliver the level of performance that pro bass and multi-species anglers demand. Underneath a bold and aggressive new look, an upgraded charging system with 40% more charging power meets the amped-up demand for today's advanced electronics. The VMAX SHO, raw power, reliability, and exhilarating performance for every angler who loves the sport enough to invest in the best. Yamaha, reliability starts here.
We don't have a large laboratory to test baits. Why, you ask? We don't need a big laboratory because our pros fish, our employees fish, our owners fish, and our kids fish. This is our laboratory. Our R&D comes from time on the water. All that time on the water brings us thousands of hours of testing new products and improving current ones for all species. Big Bite Baits, designed to bring the big bite to your line.
Boy, I can see mine plain as day. Here comes one. Here comes one. Here, you got him? Oh, I see him coming up. That is cool, man. That is as cool as it gets, man. You can see him coming up.
Buddy.
It's amazing how much this shows you how alive a lake is.
Yes. How bad we really are in certain situations is the reality of it. That, you know, I tell people, I might have been in the brush pile.
I mean, we're fishing with live bait, and I can't believe how often fish come up to it and don't eat it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can see them on there.
I don't know how we crappie fished before. I mean, I know what we did. We'd pull up to a tree or a brush pile that we thought was there or a marker buoy. We'd drop it down, we'd reel up one crank. They didn't bite it the first crank, we'd reel it up 2 cranks. They didn't bite it the third crank, we'd reel up 3 cranks. But we had no idea really, truly what was below us. Now with live scope, we know how many fish are there. We know what those fish are doing. We know how they're reacting when we're fishing. You can see everything go down. You can watch your line, you can watch your hook. You can watch them react to it, big and small. You can see different species come across and tell what they are. It is, you know, people call it video game fishing. I don't really think that that does it justice. I think it's just fishing on steroids that brings everybody together, because when you see a brush pile and you see life down there, and you see action down there, you know you're gonna get a bite.
Chase has got one. There you go.
Fish on! Hey, you took that by cue.
You can literally see
that.
right when a school of shad swam by the tree, he caught that fish. I mean, it's crazy.
I like that. I guess I have to move though. I kind of like my workbench. I'll open it up for you. Nicely done, sir. Appreciate that.
Uh-oh. Jimmy's got a big one. It's happening now. Middleton's retying and Chase and I are catching fish.
That's a good
Look
one.
at the belly on that thing.
Proud
It's
of you.
hard. It's hard.
Been
I
eating
finally
all-
came through for the team.
He's been eating all your minnows.
Yeah, he's been eating on that. He got 5 or 6 of
I'm
my
sitting there
minnows in
thinking I probably need to go buy more minnows because Jim's like 0 for 27 before that fish. The thing about crappie fishing is you don't have to overthink it with everything a lot of times. You know, I mean, I've got 6 packages of hooks I probably bought, I don't know, 2 years ago and weight, and sure I break a few lines off in a brush pile every now and then, but other than that, it's pretty simple. I mean, you can see this is my rig. There's my leader line, there's my hook, there's my weight. So it's pretty simple type of fishing. That one lit it up, he bit it. Come here, spit my minnow up. Yipper.
Where was Wade at, Chase? Okay. Oh man, again? Really?
He thump it pretty good.
You dogs. Gonna make it? Yeah. Oh, wait.
He's not
Wait.
gonna make it.
Triple! Finally, Jim comes through.
We'll hold it up and take a picture for you.
Woohoo!
Attaboy, Jim. Oh, you had one come up.
Really?
Somebody
That his
did.
or his, huh? There you go. Oh!
Man, I soaked that one
Talk to me.
forever.
Oh, god
yeah.
damn. Nice.
That's the kind we like, huh? I think I'm just gonna put my rod down after that one.
Hard to top
I'm
it.
gonna go marinate. Well, that's what crappie fishing, the fun part of to me, crappie fishing. Of course, the eating part's really good.
The eating part is my favorite.
Good time, appreciate it. It's always fun to
Thank
go.
you, man. Thank you.
Pretty good. Look at his tail. It's all chewed
Beautiful
up.
fish.
Like it, still not as big as the one Chase caught. This showed his elders no respect.
We had a great morning today on Choke Canyon Reservoir. I got to fish with 2 really good friends, Chase Hucks and Wade Middleton.
I've fished with Jim many times. Wade, this is the first trip I've had with Wade. Everybody felt relaxed. Everybody, you know, was friendly out on the boat. We jab at each other a little bit, but it's all fun and games.
We talked about some stories that, quite frankly, I kind of forgot about, being old as I am, so they reminded me, oh, we did that. Yeah, that's right. And that's kind of the cool thing about being on the water. You're enjoying it. You're having a good time. It's an absolute blessing.
At the end of the day, the memories of the good hook sets and the ones that got away, getting hung in a few places, watching Jim break some things, man, just makes for a great trip.
Following this quick break, we round out this episode by talking more about Garmin Panoptix Live Scope. Hear from Garmin Pro Brent Chapman and go out on the water with Garmin staff to dial in specific settings. Learn more about Live Scope next.
Attention anglers, are you looking for soft tubes or craws? How about big jigs, little jigs, and shaky heads of all sorts and sizes? Do you want some sweet swim jigs that you can take all across the country? When's the last time you stocked up on frogs, wacky rigs, or big old lead shakers? Maybe you just need a few swim bait heads, finesse jigs, and some good old stupid tube jig heads. You'll find all that and more fishing gear when you go online and shop the entire selection of secret lures now.
Things you let me see. Things you let me see.
You know, Live Scope is amazing, the forward-facing sonar, essentially what it is. It's another tool in the toolbox for finding fish. You know, we all grew up using traditional sonar and then side view, down view, and GPS, and those are all key features for crappie and bass fishing, but forward-facing sonar like live scope is a game changer because now you don't have to surprise the fish. A lot of times you'd have to idle over the fish and let them know you're there before you actually, before you could find the fish. But now with forward-facing sonar, you can see what's out in front of you before you even get to the fish. But for crappie fishing, it's an absolute game changer, especially for us up in the Midwest where you essentially chase schools of crappie around a lot of the times of the year. Sometimes they don't even relate to the cover. So you'll pull into a cove and there might be a little channel through it. And with the live scope, you just look down and go, they're over here now, and you'll go over there, see them on the traditional. If they move off the traditional, you just take the live scope and you look and you're like, oh, they've moved over here, and they can't hide from you, where before you just have to go guess until you can find them again. So absolute game changer.
Garmin Panoptix Live Scope is a great tool for anglers to use out on the water. But for an angler to get the most out of their equipment, they need to know the ins and outs of each different product setting. We go out on the water now as representatives from Garmin show step-by-step processes of how to set up different settings with Live Scope.
Sometime throughout the day, your image on your live scope is going to change based on the changing of the conditions, whether it's cloudy or sunny, whether you're in some rocky bottom or a real soft bottom. And sometimes it's important to reset your sonar defaults to clear up an image. That black box is thinking all day long. And sometimes if you can just reset the black box, you can give that live scope a break and it'll clear your image up a lot, and it's really easy to do. You can restore your settings, set your 4 or 5 manual settings you like back up, and you'll be back on the water fishing. Okay, to do that, I'll open my Panoptix live scope screen. I'll hit the menu button. We'll go into sonar setup, installation, and we'll restore sonar defaults. Yes. Okay. Now we can open up our Panoptix again and then go back in, set our gain, set our forward range, set our orientation. And you're back to fishing again, and it takes less than a minute to set everything right back up. Garmin has introduced a depth button for live scope right on the front of your Panoptix screen. What's really nice about that is it helps you maximize your screen. If you have your depth range set really deep when you're out deep and then you start moving shallow, maybe chasing fish up shallow, you need to change this depth feature to maximize the full length of your screen. And that's really easy to do with the new buttons. As you can see on our graph, we've got it set really deep here. So only a quarter or a third of our screen is actually showing the water column, and all the rest of this is wasted on showing the bottom. It's really easy to go in and change that. You can take your unit out of auto depth and then turn it into manual and just bump that button until you're really maximizing the height of your screen. You can still see the bottom and fish sucked around here.
Whether it's Garmin Panoptix Live Scope or the Big Bite Baits Pendulate Jig Head, there are all kinds of great tools out there for you to catch more crappie. Take the information from today's show combined with more time spent on the water, and you too will be filling the cooler with crappie in no time.
Nicely done.
This episode was made possible by these partners.
Born in Japan, FC Sniper became the #1 fluorocarbon line in the Japanese market. It transitioned to the US in the early 2000s and continues to grow in prominence with anglers. FC Sniper is the flagship product in the American market and bestseller. It features the perfect blend of abrasion resistance, low memory, and tensile strength. FC Sniper is offered in pound tests that range from 2 pound to 30 pound and in spool sizes up to 1,200 yards. FC Sniper has the strength to guarantee your confidence.
From sun up to sundown, day in and day out, we work hard. We play hard. And to keep us going during those long hours, we demand performance. Angle coolers, the original high-performance cooler.
Deep Creep, from the makers of Seafoam Motor Treatment. Deep Creep is a premium quality penetrating oil and lubricant. It works fast to break metal surface tension and crawl deep into parts and mechanisms. Use it to oil all kinds of mechanisms like gears, hinges, and chains. It frees stubborn parts from rust and corrosion. Lubricate and protect guns, tools, and stored engine parts. Deep Creep lasts longer by resisting evaporation and stays fluid under extreme heat for the toughest jobs. Deep Creep, nothing creeps deeper. Ask for Deep Creep wherever auto and hardware products are sold.
TH Marine has been producing top-of-the-line marine accessories to rig boats from transom to trolling motor for decades. From jack plates to fish care to LEDs, TH Marine has you covered. TH Marine, outfitting your boat from transom to trolling motor.